Hi, this class is brought to you by Victor Growth Academy, and today we are going to discuss one article of the newspaper The Hindu, 16th March 2020. This is today's newspaper. You can see confirmed COVID-19 cases rises to 114. That is today's newspaper headline. We also had Modi calls for SARC emergency fund. $10 million we have offered to create a fund to fight the coronavirus. Okay. Then we can see other regional news here. As far as civil service is concerned, what is very important is the concept, and there you will get it. It is be available only in the editorial. So today's editorial, okay, these are the editorial. When every line is in the book is violated, Kanshiram's legacy of Dalit empowerment left adrift. Okay, so these articles are there, but what I felt in the exam perspective is article which is found here, a dam of contention in Africa. It can be asked in the prelims this year itself, okay, and if it required, it can be asked in the mains also. Though it is not directly linked with India, you can use this as an example. So before starting, what I want you from you is you should have today's newspaper with you, okay. Either it is a digital paper or it is a physical paper is also okay. Then I need an atlas. You should have an atlas with you. An atlas should be there, which is important for reading current affairs. Then a dedicated notebook should be there, okay, which will be you'll be updating all the important points. See, any subject you can read. If you want to read Lakshmikant, you don't need to necessarily make a notes because you can underline and read. But as far as current affairs concerned, I strictly recommend that you should have a notes with you. Okay, so let us start. So we are going to discuss. So it is better that you have the newspaper with you. A dam of contention in Africa is what the news item we are going to discuss with. Yes. So I'll read this for you. Okay, and you should also read with me. Okay, and whenever I am asking you to take the notes, you should take the notes. And when I'm asking you to refer the atlas, you should refer, underline. All this should go hand in hand. It is like as if you are sitting in my class and you are observing this. Okay. So let us start. A dam of contention in Africa. International mediation over GERD. Note on this point, GERD. This can be asked in a question, like they'll ask you, what is GERD, which was in news recently, with which country it is related with, or what is related with, can be a probable question. Okay, what is GERD? In the first paragraph, you can see, as the July deadline draws closer for the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Okay, so GERD stands for Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. So it's not an ordinary dam, it is a Renaissance Dam. Okay, so where is it? It is in the river Nile. To become functional, the dispute between Ethiopia and Egypt. So write down this dam, GERD dam, is the dispute between Ethiopia and the Egypt. This also you should write in your notebook. Okay. With the Sudan caught in between, has escalated into a diplomatic standoff. Okay, so the dam issue has become a diplomatic standoff. Differences were laid bare recently when Ethiopia skipped the latest round of tripartite negotiation with Egypt and Sudan in Washington, being mediated by the USA and the World Bank. So another point you have to write down is this GERD, or the dam issue between Ethiopia and the Egypt, is mediated by USA and the World Bank. Okay, but however, Ethiopia has recently skipped the mediation, that we don't want mediation. The Prime Minister of Ethiopia, write down this point because he got a Nobel Prize. His name is Abiy Ahmed. Write down, Abiy, Abiy Ahmed. Okay, and who won a 2019. And even said last October, no force could. So what he said, no force could stop Ethiopia from building the dam. Okay, so the dam has become very emotional for the people of Ethiopia. Though he stressed that war was not a solution, echoing similar rhetoric from Cairo. Cairo is the capital of Egypt. The Arab League earlier this month underscored Egypt's historical and civilizational link to the river region and opposed any unilateral action by Ethiopia. Okay, so Arab countries are with the Egypt. They are saying that Nile has got civilizational link. You know, Egyptian civilization in the banks of river Nile happened. So they are actually supporting the. So this you write down point. Okay, point has to be written. Arab leagues are supporting Egypt in the Nile dam issue. Okay, now I want you to take the atlas before going further. Okay, so take the atlas, take the African political map, okay, as well as physical map. Okay, so if you see in the atlas, take the Africa map. Africa map normally comes in the last. Okay, so if you take it, you have to find out how the countries are there in this. So you can see there is an Nile river. Egypt is there. Okay, so Egypt, below Egypt there is a Sudan. Okay, and below Sudan there is a South Sudan. Okay, and then in the right side of Sudan you got Ethiopia. Okay, now how this Ethiopia is linked with the Nile, that's what the confusion, or you may ask yourself. I'll tell you one thing. Okay, the thing is the Nile river actually originates as a two stream. Yeah, so look at this Africa map I have drawn. So this one which is I'm marking as a 1, and this one I'm marking as a 2. So actually the river Nile is not a one single river, it's a two river which combines to become river Nile. The one which starts from Lake Victoria, which is in Uganda, okay, that is known as White Nile, and the Lake Tana, which is in Ethiopia, that Nile, which is originating from Lake Tana, is known by the name Blue Nile. Okay, so this both Blue Nile and the White Nile meets at a place called Khartoum, which is the capital of Sudan. Okay, so here, where is the dam is coming? The dam is coming in the Blue Nile. It is in the Ethiopian. It is well within the Ethiopian territory. This is coming. Okay, but what the Egypt is saying, it is in the lower. Right, so this is Egypt region. Okay, so this is Sudan. Then it has got Ethiopia here. So the Egypt is saying that the water which is coming to its region will be reduced because of this dam, which is going to be the largest dam in Africa. Okay, so this is what the blue picture of. So you should see this in the atlas. You should see Ethiopia, Lake Tana is there, Uganda, then Lake Victoria is there, and this is coming, and this dam is being built in the Blue Nile only. Now coming back to the articles. Okay, take the article. Yeah, the second paragraph, we are reading the second paragraph. The contiguous issue around the grid, Africa's GERD, that's what grid I'll say. Okay, the Africa's biggest hydropower, it's going to be the Africa's biggest hydropower project so far, concerns control of flow of water in the world's longest river. You know, Nile is the longest river. So here they are going to put a dam in Ethiopia among the riparian states. Underline the word riparian. Riparian means wherever the water is servicing the territory is known as riparian state. For example, in case of Kaveri, the riparian states are Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Puducherry. Like this, riparian states. Ethiopia's Africa's second most populated country. Underline that or write down that. Ethiopia is the Africa's second most populated. I think first is Nigeria, that you cross check it. Second most populated country and manufacturing hub, views mega dam as a symbol of its sovereignty. It is not just about building a dam for its power consumption, but it is my river, it is in my country, so I will build the dam. So that is what the Ethiopia is talking about. That is what the word sovereignty is coming into picture. It began construction of the on the Blue Nile. I already told you that the river is being built on Blue Nile only, not on the White Nile. A tributary in 2011 at a cost of 4 billion. 4 billion cost has been put on this dam. The government wants to extend power supply to some 60% of country's population and the bridge the infrastructure gap. Okay, so the need for Ethiopia is to construct the dam and give power supply to the 60% of population, okay, and also bridge the in the infrastructure means basically electricity. Addis Ababa is hence impatient. Addis Ababa means the capital of Ethiopia, is to fill gigantic reservoir within 6 years and generate 6,000 megawatt of electricity. So another point you have to note down in your notebook is 6,000 megawatt of electricity will be produced in this GERD. Now, what is Cairo's reservation? Cairo is Egypt's reservation. But the grid storage capacity of 74 billion cubic metric of water has raised heckles in Cairo. Okay, because it is going to dam now. So dam means it will be stored the water and then there will be. So Egypt is saying that it will affect its water supply. Okay, Egypt, which relies on Nile for 90% of the fresh water, because you know that there's a Sahara desert. Okay, so look at the dam, look at the atlas. So here you can see Sahara desert. So this Sahara, so the river flows in the Sahara desert. So there is no other source of water. Okay, so that is why this Nile river is very important for this region. 90% of the freshwater supply comes from this river. Is apprehensive that a rapid filling of reservoir in the upstream Ethiopia would cause a drastic reduction in supplies. Okay, that is water supply, it will affect. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has insisted on a staged approach to fill the reservoir, say between 10 to 21 years. Okay, so they are coming for a compromise. Egypt is saying like suddenly don't fill the reservoir. If you suddenly fill the reservoir, then no water is going to come to us. So what you do, 10 to 21 years you take time and then you fill the reservoir. Thereby we'll also get the water during this period. And for the release of minimum of 40 billion cubic metric annually. So they are demanding 40 billion cubic of water. Okay, you know, within India we have fight between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu about the river Kaveri. So it is two countries are involved, so you can understand what is the importance of this river and the sovereignty of this country. No less is the risk Egypt perceives from the diversion of water to its own. So you are also reading the newspaper along with me. Okay, if you want, you can pass it and read it. I am going very slow. If you want to go further slow or any kind of changes in my pass, please comment below. And the Aswan Dam, write down ASWN, Aswan Dam, okay, which is mentioned here. Okay, this dam is actually built on the river Nile by the Egypt. Okay, Egypt already have a dam in the Nile, that is a Egypt Aswan Dam. Aswan Dam, it is very good for the electricity they produce for aluminum industry there. Conversely, Addis Ababa is concerned that a long delay in filling the reservoir would jeopardize return of its investment and hamper the prospects of overall growth. Okay, so Egypt is saying that it will get a reduced water supply, whereas Ethiopia is saying that if we delay it further, then I have invested 4 billion into it, the investment returns will be delayed, so our economy will be in trouble. Okay. The GERD is said to have been financed almost entirely from domestic resources. This is something which we can learn from this. Okay. The entire project is being domestically funded. That means the Ethiopia has raised this money from their own country, no external funding. So it has put all its stake on the dam. Is a part due to resistance mounted by the Egypt against the global funding. Okay, and why they did not? Because no other country was ready to fund this project against the Egypt's will. There is an addition, that element of national pride. Okay, this is something. Okay, when something goes wrong, you create a nationalism, nationalistic emotions. So the dam has become a national pride for the Ethiopia. Okay, and it has to be completed on time. As Ethiopia's recent economic resurgence have revived the old vision of great Ethiopia. Okay, so every country has its own past great. Okay, India was a great Sonek Chidia. Every country has its own past. So Ethiopia is saying we are reviving it, we are resurgence, and we are going to back the ancient times of great era of Ethiopia. There is also a lot of stake for the government of Mr. Ahmed, the person who got the Nobel Peace Award, who faces difficult general election this year after the Ethiopia of 2018 peace process with Eritrea has largely been faded. Okay, that means he was having charismatic, or you can say wave towards that he will win again in the election, but that has faded. So now he thinks that building this dam would make him his people to vote for him. So the election is also inward. So whenever US election is there, everything is so we talked about Afghanistan pull out now because of US election. Likewise, election is also going to come in the Ethiopia. So the construction of dam has become a national pride. It is also essential for the president, what is his name? Prime Minister or President Ahmed. Now, let us see some of the history and geopolitics. Cairo, that is the capital of Egypt, strong reservation over the Cairo is also rooted in history and geopolitics. Okay, it is not only the supply of water will be reduced, the importance of Egypt over the river will also be reduced. Okay, whenever we talk about the river Nile, you ask to Bacha or any student, where is the river Nile? People will say it is in Egypt, but actually only small portion of the river is flowing through the Egypt. Because of this, Egyptian civilization, we people remove. So that legacy will be lost. That is what they are thinking. The Cairo strong reservation is also rooted in the history and geopolitics. Under 1959, underline this point. Okay, under 1959 Nile Waters Agreement, 1959, this agreement has happened. The two downstream riparian state, Egyptian Sudan, respectively allotted 55.5 billion. The numbers are not important, but you try to understand what are the countries were involved. It was involved only the Sudan and the Egypt were involved. Ethiopia was not involved in this. Okay, so this happened in 1959. There was a Nile Water Agreement has happened. Okay. That settlement reduced Cairo control of the water. So that the entire control of the river Nile has been distributed from Egypt to Sudan also. Compared to the virtual veto or utilization, it was granted right on 1929. So 1959 one treaty is there, 1929 one treaty is there. 1929 treaty gave complete control of the river towards the Egypt. Ethiopia was outside the purview of the 1959 treaty. Also, other upstream. So upstream and downstream. Upstream means when the river is originating. For example, river Kaveri is originating in Karnataka. So Karnataka is the upstream, and Tamil Nadu is the downstream. Okay. So riparian means it includes all the states wherever the river is going. But when I say upstream, which is originating place, downstream means downwards towards the end of the river. Okay. So what are the upstream rivers? If you look at the atlas, just go back and atlas, you can see it is Lake Victoria. Uganda is there, Kenya also there, Rwanda is also there. These are some of the upstream countries. But Addis Ababa's assertion of its right for an equitable share of Blue Nile flows from a cooperative framework agreement signed by some of the 10 Nile Basin Initiative nations. Under the initiative, Ethiopia participates as an observer. Okay, so Blue Nile is my country, it is in my flow, so they have already created an agreement with the 10 Nile Basin Initiative nations. The establishment of Nile River Basin Commission mandated by CFA. So write down the CFA, underline and write down the CFA. Okay, CFA stands for Cooperative Framework Agreement. Okay, which says that we have to create a Nile River Basin Commission. Nile River Basin Commission has to be created, but that has never been created so far. Okay. The challenges for fair utilization of the water among the riparian states have only been compounded by the pressure of population growth. Or also underline that again, the pressure on the water has increased because of the population increase. That also you note down in your notebook. Okay, and the effect of global warming. Global warming, evaporation is more, population wants more water. The future wars will be on the water only. We have seen that. Okay, while the parties have sought international mediation from the US and South Africa, there is no substitute to regional cooperation. So the author is saying we should go for a regional cooperation. The countries should sit along with themselves and they should work together. Okay, so what kind of question possibles in this? They'll ask you Blue Nile origination. They can ask you White Nile, where is it originating, or what is GERD related with? Okay, or who is mediating this? Okay, all these are possible question. So what is the question? I will discuss. I will make a question and I'll give in the next video. And any doubts in this or how to improve our lessons, you can always give a comment. Thank you very much. Bye bye.